Hey everyone, it's So's Comet and welcome back. Today I'll be redesigning My Little Pony villains into heroes. What I mean by heroes, I just mean good guys. I'll be taking you through my step-by-step design process, the pony's occupation and background story. I hope you enjoy. The first pony I wanted to redesign had to be Queen Chrysalis. She's just so iconic. Information known on her on a very surface level is that she's very manipulative, she's a fierce and cruel pony who feeds off of love, much similar to the Dazzlings, the concept, I guess, from Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks, for example. She's also a shapeshifter and a hypnotist. For context, changelings are a race of creatures in Equestria, acting as mini-minions on behalf of Queen Chrysalis, and in the comics they were said to have been born from a rotten tree, I believe. And for a little bit more context, in canon she was dethroned as Queen of the Changelings and it was handed over to Thorax. In Season 6, Starlight tried to convince Chrysalis a better way of leading the changelings is to obtain love rather than feed off of it. She refused and tried to absorb the love given to Thorax, the now king of the changelings, by the crystal ponies. My idea was that instead of her rejecting Starlight, she accepts the love being shown to her, and it transforms not only herself, but the changelings as well. As for thoughts on her occupation and job, I thought she would have to be the Queen of the Changelings. I thought she could kind of be forest nymph in charge of keeping the ponies in Equestria's emotions in check in a way, and kind of protect and nurture the love around her rather than feeding off of it. How only appropriate to think like that. As for design, very exciting. When you look at the changelings and when they turn good, they heavily resembled insects, which I believe was actually very intentional by the character designer of Queen Chrysalis. So I took heavy inspiration from butterflies and beetles and stuff like that and tried to incorporate it into this design. As for her just appearance and body type, I tried to keep her tall and dramatic, but I softened up some features, such as the joints, to make her look a little bit more approachable. And of course, to symbolize royalty, she is indeed an alicorn. If you find any potholes within the kind of logistics of what I'm saying, feel free to comment down below, as I'm kind of more design focused, but I love how this turned out. Moving on to the queen of controversy, quite literally herself, Sunset Shimmer. Now, I was unsure whether to add her or not, as she already turned from a villain into a hero canonically already, but she's one of my favourite characters, and I wanted to rethink her anyway, as if she's always been good from the very beginning, and never went rogue from her studies with Princess Celestia. When Sunset Shimmer was evil, she was greedy, bossy, and revengeful, and she even tried to steal Twilight's crown numerous times and failed. So instead, I reimagined that she simply worked for the princess title ethically, just like Twilight Sparkle did. This entire approach made me look at Twilight Sparkle in depth for inspiration, as she was also a student of Princess Celestia, who gained the princess title. I wanted to intentionally keep her fiery aspects, as it doesn't necessarily mean she's evil, and it could even indicate her occupation a little bit, and it just felt like a discredit to the character itself, so yeah. At first I struggled coming up with an occupation for her, but I looked into her cutie mark a little bit, and it's quite literally a yin and yang symbol representing inner light and dark and balance. So I kind of wondered, what could she be balancing? And when you look at authority figures such as Princess Luna and Princess Celestia, for example, they have major jobs. So similarly to Rainbow Dash, who controls the weather, I thought Sunset Shimmer in this alternate universe could be in control of weather phenomenon patterns to further help equestrian magic's research in her studies. And of course she is an alicorn, so I felt it was only fitting to give her a big responsibility like this. And of course I gave her the tall princess body shape to kind of make sure it's obvious that she is an authority figure and she is royalty. As for incorporating her job into her visual design, I wanted her to kind of resemble noctilucent clouds, which I believe is the phenomenon where the clouds turn rainbow coloured. And I just wanted to kind of have her represent the fiery and icy, all kinds of unusual weather phenomenons in her design. And overall, I quite like what I came up with. I do think it's a little bit basic, but I feel like with most princesses in My Little Pony, their designs are kind of like this anyway. Moving on to probably one of the most aura-farming characters in the whole series, King Sombra. Now, I believe there's already an alternate universe where, King Sombra is already turned into a hero in the comics. However, similarly to Sunset Shimmer, I wanted to come up with my own concept. So, contextual information we know on King Sombra is that he's a former dictator of the Crystal Empire. As for his canon design, he kind of depicts a solid creature with a flowy, smoky mass around him, and I believe his race is considered an Umbrum. His visual is quite bulky and elongated, and he's quite revengeful, especially as seen in the comics. As for coming up with design ideas, the word sombra itself is Spanish for shadow, so it's kind of instinct to look at the light instead, and I definitely reversed his color palette a little bit. I made it so his skin is grey instead of black, just to lighten it up a little bit. And I made it so instead of red, which kind of symbolizes evil in general, I made it so he's blue instead, which is kind of a more welcoming color, and navy itself seems quite royal to me, so I tried to keep with that. Princess Celestia herself described him as a unicorn whose heart was black as night. Again, the urge to reverse that is very compelling. It's also important to note that not all evil ponies have this colour palette, such as Princess Luna, for example. It's just commonly depicted in media for evil ponies to consist of reds and blacks and purples even. Anyway, my idea was that he would still be in power as a king, however, I think he would just be king of the Crystal Empire, which would also make him a crystal pony, which is quite exciting. Again, big focus on his colour palette whilst protecting his identity in a way. I tried to avoid cliches as well. I focused on just blues and golds and navy colours, as you can probably tell. And I'm doing a little bit of editing magic to make it look like he's a crystal pony. And in general, I just kind of thought that he would be a good ruler instead of a bad one, which is quite a basic take, but I couldn't really come up with anything else. Again, if you have any better ideas, make sure to comment them down below. I check my comments and reply to all of them, so yeah. That is all the characters I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any more ideas for me, comment them down below and I'll see if I can do them. My name is Soph's Comet, or Sophie, or Soph, whatever you like to call me, and I hope you have a lovely day, night, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you, and goodbye!